What's going on, world? It's your main man, the author. Right back at that ass again. Here's another one. Just want to make this brief video, man. I have a lot of black women coming on my page talking about, why do black men complain so much about their women, or other races of men don't complain about their women nearly as much as black men do. So other races of men don't complain about their women nearly as much as black men do. And I kind of touched on this in my other video, man, entitled Black Women Look Better with Weaves. The reason for that is, man, if you go to other parts of the world, men have more control over their women. Like I was explaining before, if you go to some Muslim countries, if women get out of line, I mean, they can throw your ass off the roof and pretty much not be penalized, man. I touched on this before. In India, if you caught your wife cheating on you, guys over there would throw acid in their wife's face. I mean, they used to do that. That's just what they used to do on a consistent basis. It wasn't until America got involved and HBO went over there to where it was a guy finally convicted for throwing acid in his wife's face. He disfigured her because he caught her. I guess he found out she was cheating, and she was somewhere out in public, and he threw acid on her. And he got life. The one guy got life, but before that, guys were consistently doing that and just getting away with it in India. Some of you guys who've been with me, previously, you've been with me from the start, know that I taught, or if you watch my other video on, black women look better with weaves, I mentioned the example with the Mexican cartel drug dealer who found out that his wife was cheating, and he was masked up, had all his goons masked up, and he had her in the middle of the circle, and he took a small paring knife and just went ahead and cut her neck and pretty much took her whole head off and held it in the air. He did it in under 30 seconds, man, like about 45 seconds. Some black woman called me evil and said she was going to unfriend me on Facebook. But I didn't commit the murder. And the video was already shared on Facebook anyway. I think they took the video down. At first, I was wondering if it was real, but I mean, they took the video down, so I think it was real. But my point is, and that's in Mexico. I mentioned an example in India with the acid. The Muslims can pretty much throw their females off the roof, man. In Iraq, females had to be covered up until the U.S. went over there and tore apart the country. They had to be covered up. So my point is, man, in other parts of the world, other men have a lot more control over their women. Even white folks. I did research when I was in grad school. They had this, and I think in the 1800s, in Britain, or they had a law called rule of thumb. I didn't know where that came from, and what that meant was you could beat your wife. They had made a law that said that you could beat your wife, but if you used a foreign object, it couldn't be any bigger than your thumb, because before that, you could pick up anything and go upside her head with it, if she got out of line. All right, that was in the 1800s, and the Napoleonic law. This is in France. So Napoleon ruled France and almost took over most of the world. He's compared to Hitler, Napoleon. But the Napoleonic law said that a man could go up to the point of death to defend his honor in the household. So in other words, if he felt that his wife wasn't listening or his kids weren't listening, he could pretty much beat the shit out of them until they fell in line, man. So these cultures knew the importance of a patriarchy, and all these cultures were were powerful, man. You all know about Napoleon. If you don't, Google his name. Uh, Now I know history is his story and things of that nature, but at the same time, though, um, what they're saying was, which is which I'm believing is a fact. Napoleon was a very powerful man. He took over a lot of the world, a lot of Europe, and a lot of other places in the world. And France is still a strong power today. Very wealthy country. Um, you know, we all know England and then Great Britain rules pretty much everything, and they had laws which said that they could keep their wife and family in line, that the man could go up to the point of violence to keep the household in line. And we know England is one of the most powerful countries in the world. Even India and uh, Mexico. I mean, almost all these countries are doing better than the African American community. All right, some of the ones who come over here end up being big business owners, right? A lot of Hindu, a lot of people from India and Asia and shit like that, right? Even Mexicans have more businesses than blacks in the U.S. All right, there's a La Quinta or Quinta hotel right next to Embassy Suites on South Tryon, where I'm here. I'm from here. Where I'm living here in Charlotte. So my point is, man, a lot of womanists or people who are females who are part of the womanism or womanist movement, which is a spinoff of the white female feminist movement. They'll tell you that it's the man's fault, X, Y, Z, and the third. If he were to build up, then black females wouldn't have to be so masculine, and if he were to take responsibility. But in the same breath, they'll tell you they don't think a patriarchy works, which means they don't think that male-headed households work. But if we look through the eye of history, your most powerful societies were patriarchal societies: France, Britain, and these societies had rules to keep women in line. And even still today, in a lot of parts of the world, women can't do what they want to do. Women can't blatantly disrespect women in India can't blatantly disrespect men, right? And they have their own, uh, countries. A lot of them come over here and work in Bank of America. So my point is, a lot of the men here in America, in the West, everything's fucked up with the feminism type shit. So other men don't complain about their women as much because they have more control over their women in other parts of the world, man. They have more control. There's no need for them to complain because their society is not totally out of whack. Now, feminism has spread, globally, worldwide, but it's having its biggest impact here in the West. And some of the families who do come over here from other countries, don't really mix with other groups, the mainstream groups. They stay within their uh, little bubble. So you get one. Usually, if you get one Hindi or family from India who moves here, they're gonna move with other families from India who also moved here. Just like when I used to stay in the across the street from the university, the Hindus pretty much had that whole section to themselves. That whole building was nothing, and they used to come over and had their little parties. They just stayed in their own little group. I don't know where black people think why they think it's so much multiculturalism, where it's really not. They was all a Hindu. They used to be upstairs, jumping up and down, having their little festivities and shit like that. Everybody who was there was pretty much from India, you know. So when they come over here, they're in neighborhoods with other Indian people from India, basically. Same with the Asians. They try to keep it tight knit. Now, maybe some of the ones who've been over here for 3 or 4 generations tend to mingle, but even some of those Asians, the higher class ones, tend to hang out with white people. So, or Caucasians, i.e., Caucasians, Italians, Irish. so on and so forth. If you don't know what white means. So, and my point is, man, other races of men don't have nearly as much a reason to complain about their women because, like I said, they have more control. The black man in America, i.e., so-called African American man, has been his whole family structure has been hijacked. He's been attacked. He doesn't have control over his women, even his kids can dog him out. I saw now, and I know this is Hollywood's TV, but it was a courtroom case where this chick actually came to the courtroom, and she tried to her husband, or he took her to court, or a guy she used to mess with took her to court because she just wasn't paying her parking tickets. she kept getting parking tickets, and she didn't give a fuck because the car was in the guy's name, and she racked up $3,000 worth of tickets and gonna bring her daughter to court. Now her daughter happens to be the guy who's suing her. That's his daughter as well. But she's going to bring their child to court, 9 years old, to testify against her own father. And you could tell the kid doesn't have any respect for her father because she said the judge asked her something and she referred to her father as he. You know, like the pronouns. She didn't say my dad. So, black females always, she's gonna take the female so she can raise another monster. And we have a system that supports that behavior, where females are raising other females to be monsters as well. Even raising other black boys to hate themselves, right? That's where you got the increase of the homosexuality in the black community, which wasn't always there. I mean, don't let anyone fool you. That wasn't always there. But yeah, you keep making a boy think that his masculinity doesn't mean anything, and he will revert to a woman. I'm not saying that this hasn't affected other racial groups, but again, when white America catches a cold, black America catches pneumonia. So it's 10 times worse for us. So we can't afford to follow or be hit with the same things they're being hit with. But my point is the black men in America don't have any control over their women. And I use various examples with the brother getting punched in the face at the gas station. Excuse me, the brother being hit on it, getting beat down by the chick on the train. Nobody helps this brother. And the chick is in his face like, son, you got me upset. You got me upset, son. You got me upset. It sounded just like a stereotypical ghetto black dude from off the corner. Son, you got me feeling some kind of way, son. And this is a female, and the guy is just sitting there listening. And all of a sudden, she hauls off, hits him, punches him, knocks him down to the floor. And what do you think people on the train? They're watching, recording. Ooh, ooh, ooh. See, I told you not to fuck with her. See, I told you not to fuck with her. See, I told you not to fuck with her. Like, yo, man, why aren't you helping this? Why aren't you helping this young man? We don't know if he has a medical condition. We don't know if he's maybe a pacifist. Or we don't know if he just doesn't want to hit her back because he knows the rule. He may get arrested. Now, I'm pretty sure he was raised by another female. But why would you root that on? The train was rooting that on, clapping, cheering, and laughing. Now, what if she had killed that man? Would he still have deserved it? And she hauled off and hit him because he said something she didn't like. I don't know why females, especially black females, it's okay for them to haul off and hit a man if he says something she doesn't like, or if he doesn't. This one white dude, he was going like this, like swinging his arms, standing behind this white female, and the white female fucking cold cocked him, hit him hard as a bitch. She was bigger than he was too. I don't give a fuck what the law says. You're bigger than me, and you hit me. I'm trying to fuck you up. She cold cocked that man, like hit him in his jaw, and he didn't do anything back. He never even spoke to this female. Now, she might have thought that what he was doing, dancing behind her, was disrespectful, but if I'm not touching you, if I'm not saying anything to you, you don't have a right to strike me. But yet, a female will tell you, if you get the best of her, you start beating her ass, she will call the cops. Oh, he can't put his hands on me after she done talked all type of shit. But the flip side, if a woman don't like what a man says, she can smack him and everybody around will cheer. That's the type of sick society we live in, man. The feminist dominated society. I mean, it's in movies, it's in music, but it's a sickness, and it's all but obliterated the black community. But that's why black women, and for everybody else who wants to know, that's why black men complain, because yes, everyone else in the West is being attacked by feminism, but it's pretty much it has nuked the black community. It's caused abortions to go sky high. Um, it's caused the divorce rate. Well, a lot of black females aren't even getting married at all. A lot of black men, I don't blame them why they wouldn't marry these type of women. But marriage is almost non-existent in the black community. I think it's down to 25%. Homosexuality among men is going sky high. So is lesbianism among females. And I'm not saying this to say I'm perfect. At the same time, if two females want to have sex, I'm not saying I'm beyond reproach, but I'm just saying, shit is out of control, man. Kids everywhere. If you're 25 with no kids in the black community, people will laugh at you. I'm 40 with no kids. I should be a hero in the black community. But if you don't have kids, I grew up with a childhood friend. He laughed at his older brother. He said he's 25 and don't have kids. I'm like, bro, that's good. But I'm thinking now, but back then it was like I was still kind of had my eyebrows down, but I'm like, and it's like it's more important to procreate in a black community than to actually be able to take care of the kids, and even a lot of the Spanish community as well, and the poor Spanish communities. But I guess that's a tailor-made philosophy, because if you're a ruler and if you're dominating and you build all these prisons, you want people to have a warped philosophy so your prisons can be packed, so your business can be more profitable. And I understand that. I understand why the system would want certain people to think a certain way to keep shit twisted like that. But not wanting to get off tangents, but I just want to tell you how things affect other things. But the point is, that's why other groups of men don't complain about their women as much as the black man, because they're not catching as much hell as the black man, because even when they come over here, they have more control over their women, they have more control over their families, and all these races from other countries aren't necessarily coming over here building, and they still have control over their family just because the family believes in a patriarchal family setting, which a lot of black females, especially the so-called wominists, are very hypocritical, because they'll say on one hand, "Oh, we're not following the black man because he won't build, he won't take care of his family." Then in another breath, you'll say, "Oh, we don't even believe in a patriarchy anyway. It should be 50-50." Really? If I build everything, I want more control than you, because you're not building. I'm not saying that you're taking care of the kids, you're cooking, but you're not building. I don't want less say than you. I don't want you to bully. See, a lot of these females, they want a bodyguard that they can have sex with from time to time. They want a slave. They want someone they can control. They want someone who will stand up for them if they lose an argument. But they want to be able to dog that person out and cheat on them. They want a slave. Just like with back in the day with the old slave movement, which I don't totally. I'll talk about that in another video. But they want a slave, man. Somebody to be submissive to them. They want a guy to be able to stand up for them if they lose an argument, pay for everything. Don't mind if they fuck around, fuck them whenever they want, and they still don't have to show any respect. That's a slave. That's a poisonous mindset that a lot of our black females have. So that's to answer your question. That's why men complain more, man, because they feel that they're in a submissive position. If they've defended themselves against you, the system, will probably throw them in jail. It's a lot of good guys in jail because they went upside a girl's head. Like, for example, with the one guy who came into the hair salon. I don't know why he did that, but he had this bottle. I guess it was his chick that was sitting in the hair trying to sitting in the hair. His chick, I think the female was sitting in the chair trying to get her weave done. She had all the piss blonde highlights. He took a champagne bottle and went upside her goddamn head with it, and she fell on the floor and he walked out. Everybody was like, ooh, oh hell no. And he said, I don't give a fuck. Right? Then I posted the video on my page and said that this is what happens when you take the rent money and spend it on hair weave. Because I bet you it was some shit like that happened. Not saying he should have did that, but still. But had it been the other way around, if she had to hit him across the head with a bottle, they would have said, "Oh man, what you do?" And everybody would have probably been laughing. They would have thought the shit was funny. But when he did it, they were shocked that a man stood up for himself and said he was wrong. But you don't know what she did. I bet you it had something to do with her taking the rent money and spending it on her hair weave. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing, though. It's a double standard. You know, so. But I appreciate all the new subscribers. Keep leaving your comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell so you can get all the upcoming videos. Y'all stay safe for the holidays. And again, this is your boy, the author, signing off.